Good morning and welcome to a webinar on Purple Tuesday. I'm Mike Adams and I'm Chief Executive of Purple, and I'm delighted to welcome Samantha Sen to this webinar today, and I will ask Samantha to introduce herself.
Oh, thanks, Mike. Hello, everyone. So I'm Sam and I work for an organisation called Revo, and basically what we do is we represent and we're a membership organisation for organisations and companies working in retail. So that includes, investors and developers like the Landsecks and Westfields and Hamptons of the world, retailers like M&S and Costa, and increasingly local authorities. So really, all the stakeholders are involved in the retail built environment. But also we work really closely with organizations representing independent businesses, small businesses, retail outlets, all kinds of businesses, businesses on the high street that are really important to retail environments. So that's my day job, and I look after our policy and campaigns team, and we do all kinds of work on homelessness. We have programs supporting independence. We do lots of equally thrilling work on taxation and planning, that sort of thing. But also I am very lucky to be the retail sector champion for disability, and I work with the Minister Sarah Newton, and I help chair the Retail Sector Forum, which basically brings together all those kinds of stakeholders that I just talked about to really think about and forge the way in terms of making shopping and the built environment just much more accessible for people and families with disabilities, experiencing disabilities. And we hope that we can get all of those sorts of stakeholders involved in Purple Tuesday. So can you tell us, Mike, how the concept came about and where your thinking was around this?
Yes, thank you. Blimey, you're busy.
I know.
I'm surprised we can get in this morning. Wow, I thought I was busy.
Most of the time I'm just trying to control my inbox, which doesn't go that well.
Okay. So, Purple Tuesday.
Yeah.
It is going to be the UK's first accessible shopping day.
Yeah.
And it's going to happen on the 13th of November this year. So if I take us back, why? Well, one, we know as Purple that it is really important that businesses understand the consumer spending power of disabled people and their families.
Yeah.
The 249 billion Purple pound. We know that less than 10% of businesses have a targeted strategy to access that market. And we know that 75% of disabled people and their families have left the store or a website due to poor customer service or poor access.
Yeah.
And so we, as an organisation, Purple, a couple of years ago, ran a campaign called Help Me Spend My Money, which was a reach out to retail to say, look, if you think about disabled people and you think about how do you change your customer service and your access to enable you to access the Purple pound.
Yeah.
So we saw this as a commercial opportunity, which is driven by good customer service. And we think retail can be at the forefront of changing the conversation around disability and seeing disabled people as customers. Because actually, as an organisation, Purple believe that the way to address inequality for disabled people is to engage the unusual suspects and everyone in seeing disability as a value. And so the idea came about of a day, Purple Tuesday, that would raise awareness across the retail sector about the importance of the Purple pound, but also to raise awareness about what retail and all those audiences that you've talked about can do to improve the shopping experience for disabled customers and their families.
I mean, that is amazing, Mike, and it's been really wonderful working with you, on this area. So then, in a nutshell then, tell us what Purple Tuesday is.
Purple Tuesday is about retailers understanding and raising awareness with their staff about the importance of customer service.
Yeah.
It's about demystifying some of the issues around disability. One really good example, and I always use this, is that the international sign for disabled people is the wheelchair. And it has done absolutely wonders to promote disability as an issue. But actually, the downside is that people have in their minds that disabled people are wheelchair users.
Yeah.
Where actually the reality is only 4% of the population in the disabled population in the UK are wheelchair users.
Yeah.
And we know that 4 out of 5 disabled people that walk into a store have a hidden impairment, have a hidden disability. So we want to raise awareness about that. We want organisations to celebrate with their staff what they already do.
Yeah.
And we want organisations to make one kind of commitment to implementing something that they haven't done before around disability that will make a lasting change.
Yeah. I think it's a really interesting point you make, Mike, about sort of, you know, people's knowledge. And we found that when we surveyed the industry and our members that, you know, there was knowledge and awareness of certain kinds of conditions, but, you know, there was a very strong desire to understand what retail businesses, what landlords, what owners could do to make the sort of the experience of those people better. So it's brilliant, I think, that, you know, Purple Tuesday kind of gives that opportunity for retailers of all kinds to really think about that, because some of the figures, like you say, are astonishing. And as you say, that 4 out of 5 disabilities are invisible, in fact.
Absolutely. And I always say to people, if you've got an idea and you go into the boardroom and you go to the senior management team or the board and look, here is a market, it's worth £249 billion. Less than 10% of businesses out there have a strategy. We could have a strategy, and predominantly our strategy is to do the things we're already doing in terms of good customer service.
Yeah.
And I think about it, and I always use the example, and it always dates me, Sam. So I always have to be careful. But I remember 15, 18 years ago when the marketeers looked at young mums as a market to sell their products and services.
Yeah.
And the marketing was orientated towards that. And lo and behold, do you know what happened? Their bottom line for those companies that increased, because they actually attracted young mums to go and buy their products. And those really sensible ones then decided, well, hang on a minute, if we are increasing our consumer base, the way to sustain and drive that is to reflect that in our workforce.
Yeah.
And you will see issues around compressed hours, flexible hours, different ways of working was driven
from that desire.
From that desire. Yeah. And what we are hoping is through Purple Tuesday, one of the benefits that retailers who need some support at the moment, you know, can open themselves up even more than they're doing so to new markets, because actually the outcome for us would be then that they employ more disabled people as well, because it reflects their increasing consumer base.
Yeah, it makes sense, Mike. I mean, I think what we've found is that, you know, there's loads of goodwill and lots of initiatives taking place in different ways across the market. And I think it's a great thing that, you know, having Purple Tuesday, 13th of November, in the run up to Christmas, that's really wonderful. But I think it's great that we're asking people who are involved, or businesses that are involved, to make that one commitment, that long-term commitment. I mean, in terms of initiatives that we've seen that have kind of taken off recently are, you know, things like autism hours or quiet hours for people who may be experiencing sensory issues, just to have a little bit of quiet time in which to do their shopping. We've seen, you know, personalised shopping services for people with visual impairments, for example. We've also seen, just in general, a more greater engagement with local charities working on all kinds of disability issues. But also we've seen like really small wins, like, you know, putting up signage on toilets which say, you know, all disabilities aren't visible, which is your point that, you know, not everybody has a visible disability, that, you know, people may need services for all kinds of reasons. And what I love about that sign is that not only hopefully does it make, you know, the shopping experience for customers more comfortable, but it's also an education piece for everybody else in the vicinity. And I think those are some of the things that we've seen and would be great for organisations to continue, you know, as you say, round the clock, round the year as well.
Absolutely, and it's funny that I was at a drinks session last weekend. A session, I shouldn't say session.
Honestly, I love, you know, your social life.
I was having a few drinks. I met a friend of a friend who works for Waitrose, I think I can say that, and he was saying that he'd heard about Purple Tuesday and that they wanted to get involved. And he was talking about Quiet Hour, which you've just been talking about. And he was saying that traditionally it'd been on a Tuesday afternoon or a Thursday afternoon once a month, and they'd suddenly moved it to a Saturday morning. And the footfall has gone up enormously. And what they've realised is putting in place things for disabled people, autism and learning disabilities, actually has a wider benefit. And we're now starting to see quiet hours happening in peak times, as well as kind of the Tuesdays and the Thursdays. And I think this is what Purple Tuesday is about. It's about celebrating what you already do and making commitments that you can then maintain. So that doesn't mean to say every day or every week you have to have a quiet hour, but what you need to say is, actually, if we're going to agree that, then once a month on a Saturday or whatever, we are going to continue. And I think that's really important. But that's one of many things.
I mean, loads of things. I love the gift wrapping idea as well. You know, like in the run up to Christmas, giving people that service that I totally rely on as well, because my gift wrapping is dreadful, frankly. So things like that are wonderful things that retailers and businesses can do quite easily. Isn't that the case, Mike? That it's not, you know, always a massive things. It's not those things that make a difference. It can be the small things. And I think what we've also found is, you know, I think we were talking about this earlier, weren't we? That, you know, the customer service in retail is just key to the business. And, you know, we can talk about resources in a minute, but, you know, one easy thing as well that businesses can do is download the customer service module that will be, you know, ready in time for Purple Tuesday, because, you know, it gives staff that easy, accessible tips and crucially the confidence, I think, to welcome people with disabilities, because we found out that sometimes it's just, you know, fear of saying something wrong or just experiencing a discomfort that doesn't need to be there.
No, absolutely. And it's funny, I have spoken to so many people in the last 2 weeks. And it's the easiest sell. It's the absolutely easiest sell, and some of the creativity, Sam. And I was talking to someone the other day who their commitment is going to be in the shopping centre, and you'll know it in the run up to Christmas, a gift wrapping service. And they are going to ensure that the only wrapping on the 13th of November is purple coloured wrapping. Because
that just warms my heart.
Because they say people go, why is there no choice? Why purple?
There's a reason why.
And there is a reason. And then they can do that explanation.
So I think that's the thing as well, is, you know, opening the conversation with your customers. Because I think, what's the stat that is it half of all UK households have a connection with someone with a disability? So everybody knows it, everybody has it in their lives, and it's really about facilitating that conversation. So then, Mike, in terms of the run-up, I know we're like talking and we can talk about it all day.
What's great?
Yeah, exactly. But then in terms of resources and kind of that sort of help that businesses might need, I mean, what will be available for organisations in the run-up to Purple Tuesday?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And at the end of this webinar, we'll give the contact details, including an email address and the website. And on the website in the next couple of weeks, there'll be an e-pack. So everything you need to know about joining Purple Tuesday, what you will get from us, what some of the interesting ideas that people are thinking about doing. The purple gift wrapping is one. There's plenty of others.
There's so many.
But what we will provide is the brand that you will see, and that can be downloaded. And we know that a really good example is some shopping centres are going to download, and we've got the Pantone, and people are going to have Purple Tuesday t-shirts.
Can I get one?
You can, and on the front will be the logo and Purple Tuesday, and on the back we're going to have a web address that links to why not all disabilities are visible.
The sign,
So the sign. So we're going to have a template of the sign that all shops can download, and we're saying to shops, start to use them. A lot are already.
You can literally print it off and put it up.
You can
on your
print it
toilets.
off, you can put it up, and what this shopping centre is going to do is have the web address on the back, because what will happen is that people on their smartphones will just look at it and type it in, and there'll be an education piece.
Yeah.
Because we talked earlier about 4 out of 5 people who walk into a shopping centre or a shop have hidden impairments, and vast majority need to use accessible toilets.
Yeah.
But why?
Yeah.
And so we think that's really important. So there'll be downloads. We're going to produce a guide for handy hints around making your website more accessible.
Yeah, that's a really key part.
We are going to provide some templates around how to do an audit of your shop or your shopping centre. Increasingly going back to the issue about hidden impairments, most shopping centres and retail outlets survey or get feedback, customer feedback. And we want to give what are the top 5 questions you might want to ask, particularly people with a hidden impairment, that then can be integrated into what they do.
Yeah.
A lot of shops do mystery shoppers.
Yeah.
So we're going to provide a brief guide on how you might want to recruit people with different impairments to be mystery shoppers as a way of doing it. And we'll produce a 2-pager on good customer service. And as you've alluded to earlier, we're going to do a 90-second video clip that talks directly to staff in all the organisations that sign up about what they can be doing to improve their customer service to disabled people and their families.
Yeah, I mean, it's really important. I wanted to ask you a question about disabled people and disability organisations, because I know that we've had loads of really great support, but can you explain to us a little bit about how they might be getting involved, in the campaign and what that involvement looks like? No,
absolutely. And I think we're really clear that Purple Tuesday is a call to action for retail.
Yeah.
But actually, if we're going to do this right, we have to involve so many different people, including disabled people and disability organisations. And I think it's really important to say, Sam, 2 things. That this is not a tokenistic day around shopping for disabled people, 13th of November. This is about putting a stick in the sand that says, what are we going to do for the other 365 days? So this is not about one day, this is about forever. And that's really important. And it's really important that disabled people are involved.
Yeah.
So on the website in the next week or so, you will see what we're calling a suggestion box. And what we want is disabled people and disability organisations to write in and tell us about their experiences. Tell us about where they have been. Anonymise it, because this is not a name and shame.
No.
Anonymise it. No, it doesn't. But say, look, here is my experience. And then we say to them, put yourself in the shoes of the store manager or the shopping centre manager and tell us what you would have done, what the solution was.
Yeah.
And where you've had a really good experience, tell us about that as well, and tell us why it was a really good experience. So the resources and the outcome, and that 365 days, we will share with the sector.
Yeah.
And so the solutions about how you improve the experience of disabled people in their shopping, the answers and the solutions will come from retailers, it will come from disabled people, and it will come from disability organisations.
I mean, that's going to be really powerful, I think. I think when we did our toolkit, which, you know, kind of gives people as well some tips and initiatives that can help make experiences better, we try to approach it from that way, which is, you know, what could the experience be of someone experiencing autism or dementia, and what you could do. But it's going to be so much more powerful coming from the disabled community and hearing it from them, and, like, you know, having it backed up by lots of real life experiences, I think. So, okay then, Mike, if I'm, you know, looking to get involved with Purple Tuesday, I'm a retail business, what can I do next?
Okay. Just
see, I can follow a script.
Well, and I'm going to go back from it because I just wanted to give one really good example. So, along with the suggestion box, we're going to have a repository of resources that people can access from the website, which is going to be practical. Your accessibility toolkit will be one, but there are a whole range of other tools and resources that people are going to share and that people can use. And as part of that, we're talking to all sorts of disability related organisations about raising awareness and how they could provide practical hints and tips framed around retail. Yeah. So a really good one is that we've talked to an organisation who promotes the issues around colour blindness. And they have produced, or going to produce, a 2-pager that will go in this repository, this portal, about what stores can do to support people who are colourblind. Yeah. Some really practical things that make such a huge difference. Yeah. And so, you know, I always talk about Purple Tuesday being pragmatic day, and this is about things that are easy to do, can be done, but would make a huge difference to the lives of people, in this case, who are colourblind. Yeah. So anyway, back to your question. If you're listening today and you're excited as much as Sam and I are about Purple Tuesday, then go to the website. That will details at the end. It's purpletuesday.org.uk, and register an interest. You will have next week an e-pack that says what is Purple Tuesday, what isn't, some of the things that we are going to provide with you, and some of the really innovative ideas about how you can get involved on the day. And as Sam said, we're not being overly prescriptive. We want you to do things that will work for your staff, your store, your shopping centre. It would be great if you could use the logo and make your store purple, whether that's mannequins, dressing mannequins in the front of your store, or drapes, or the lighting. We're talking to car dealerships who are retail about. Banks want to get involved, the high streets. Absolutely. So I was talking to an organisation in Northern Ireland last night about Motability and cars and stuff, and they were talking about the possibility of having in the showroom on that day, moving all the cars, so actually purple cars at the front. So I think there is a whole range of things that you can do. Our commitment is to provide you with all these resources. Your commitment is to get your staff engaged, to get you engaged, and get the public engaged. Absolutely. I mean, it's going to be a great day, I think, Mike. I mean, I think it's that key point, isn't it, that
There are so many things you can do. Just pick one. You know, that will make a difference to the lives of, you know, a significant amount of people. I think it is true, as you say, that retail is at the forefront of this, and there is so much that this industry can do, and there is so much goodwill there anyway. So it's wonderful that we've got the resources and the guidance from you guys. What is it, 73 days or something until Purple Day?
Yes, someone said that to me the other day, and I'm so used to with my kids going 6 sleeps till Christmas, and now I'm going 73 sleeps till Purple Tuesday.
I'll have to put that up in the office, I think. So the team know.
It's really exciting, and I think Purple Tuesday, if we can turn the UK purple, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
And I think the challenge would be to have retail having a tinge of purple for the next 365 days, and making a real difference to the shopping experience of disabled customers, and putting retail at the forefront of making that happen.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
There you go. We are way beyond our time.
I know, as usual, right?
Absolutely. So what I'm going to ask is if we put up the contact details. So if you are interested in getting involved, please contact us. Use the web address, use the email, and please feel free to promote and send to as many people as you can. The more people we get, the more purple we can turn the UK on the 13th of November. So can I, on behalf of Purple Tuesday and on behalf of Purple today, can I thank you, Sam, for your time? Can I thank you for being the retail champion and everything that is happening there? And can I thank you for all the things you're going to do in the next
long to-do list
in the next 73 days? That means you will not have time for sleep.
I know.
So,
all the rest of my day job.
Yeah. And thank you to everyone who is watching this. And we look forward to hearing from you. So thank you ever so much.
Thanks, everyone.